I'm having issues with my phone recording. So I'm going to keep going. I'll probably just post a series of videos, but it keeps just shutting off at random, and I'm not quite sure why. But anyhow, it occurred to me that in order to get to this school on time, I was going to have to run. I was not a runner. I'd never been a runner. If I haven't mentioned it before, exercise has never really been my thing. Ask anyone who took a gym class with me. I played sports for quite a few years, but even then I was like, what's the position with the least amount of running? So on the track team, I was a shot putter. In basketball, I was a center. I'm tall and I move really slow. So I've never considered myself a runner, and it turned out that I was going to have to run. And luckily I was wearing tennis shoes that day because I ran, and it ended up being something like 2.5 or 3 miles. And I got there on time, and I was sweaty and I was out of breath. I had my backpack strapped to my back, but I got there and I did it. And the feeling that I got to where I needed to go because I ran, I literally just ran. I wasn't gonna be late or let those kids down, and I just had to figure out a way. I was like stopping and asking people for directions, something I don't think we ever do anymore. But I got there on time, and I just had this realization that like my own 2 feet got me where I needed to go. And I came from a very like car heavy culture. You know, I'd had a car since I was 16, and it was a piece of shit. Before you judge me too harshly for having a car at 16, it was a piece of shit, and it caught fire when we test drove it. My dad fixed it. Anyway, from then on, when I started getting in depth in the job, I realized how much energy it took to work with kids. It takes a lot of energy to meet them where they are, and it doesn't mean you have to be bouncing around the classroom, but you do have to be present and on point when you're with them. There's nothing passive about this job, and so the fact that my feet got me where I needed to go felt really, really empowering and really good. And I started running. I became a runner for about, I don't know, it was probably like just a 5-month thing, but I started running like 3 miles a day, and I was in the best shape of my life. I was also highly underemployed. You know, I only went into the schools a couple days a week, and it was an after-school program, and I was sort of scraping by, but I was loving it, you know, and I was doing improv for the first time, and just that lovely scrappiness that comes with being underemployed and figuring things out for the first time. It was really great when I look back on it. And I started running, and I had this feeling when I was sort of becoming a runner, things got better in my life. My anxiety started to subside a bit, and I just started having more fun. And I think part of that was the fact that it coincided with improv, which is very light, and you have to be again, present and on your feet, and you kind of have to let go of your crap in order to be able to really listen to another person and accept their offer and build on it. But as I do this challenge and I continue to move my body, I am struck daily by how the gratitude just comes. It flows. Even when, you know, shit around me is crazy. Nothing about the circumstances of life or the state of our country or the just terrible, shitty things that happen every day have really changed. Nothing about any of that has really changed. But since I took back my own agency and decided to move, what I'm struck by is the notion that when things are rough, I can just get up and move. I can get up and move my body. I don't have to stay and sit and wallow in the muck and sit there with my brain turned on. And when I turn on my body and I move it, my brain kind of takes a back seat. And I am so awestruck by it. And I know that, you know, doctors, scientists, we've heard this for a long time, and people who suffer from anxiety and depression, it's actually one of the last things I want to hear. It's like, well, you just need more exercise. Because that's not all you just need, and that's not all I'm doing to help my anxiety. I'm in therapy regularly. I meditate as often as I can. I'm practicing better sleep habits. I'm openly sharing my feelings. Turns out on a YouTube page, which this is something that honestly a year ago there's no way I would have been able to do with my anxiety. I would have been too afraid of all manner of irrational fears in just creating a YouTube page even. And now I'm struck by how light everything is and how not seriously I'm taking myself. I'm still taking matters and circumstances and people and my job and, you know, the things that I do pretty seriously, or I'm treating them with respect and at times when it's warranted, reverence, the reverence that those things need and deserve. But I'm not lost in this feeling of gravity all the time. And I was for a really long time, that everything was so important and that to-do list was so important and that all the have-tos were so important. And now I feel like my priorities are just a lot more clear. I know that every day, you know, I have to move my body. I start with the priority that is for me, even if I don't start my day with it, because as you've noticed from these videos, it's often the very end of the day that I'm doing it. But by God, whether or not I'm done with those lesson plans, or whether or not I've packed our lunches for the next day, or whether or not the laundry's folded, or whether or not I have written those 40 emails, I'm going to stop what I'm doing at some point and make sure that before that clock hits midnight, I'm moving my body. I'm doing something for me. And that little gift to myself makes me take everything else so much less seriously, because I've given myself that little present that's just for me. Even amidst the like, I don't want to's, do I have to's that kind of go off in my brain all the time, or the I'm tired's, or I know that when I give myself that little bit, that tiny moment, those 30 minutes of yoga, or that bike ride with my family, or dancing in my kitchen, or I go to the gym finally, whatever it is, it means I can take on everything else that comes my way. And it makes me so much more glad that I get to have this life. And, you know, I've always tried to practice gratitude, but I keep having these moments where it just washes over me. I had a moment today with my students where I just looked around the room and they're doing amazing improv. And I just looked at them and thought, my God, I'm so grateful for them, and that they're here doing this with me, and that they enjoy this, and that they see the value in this to keep coming back. And like, what a great gift, and what a time to be alive. So that's my reflection for the day. Lighten up. Keep it easy. Enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to post both of these videos. It'll be part 1 and part 2 again, because my camera is doing weird things. All right, I'm going to get down on the mat. I'm going to do my 30 minutes of yoga with Adriene, and I'm going to hit the gym tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time.